In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the different strategies you can use to distinguish between your patients that are inactive and deceased but may not have necessarily been listed as so. If you're interested in looking at how to search for lapsed patients, you can see the video Provider List, in which I go through how to also show all patients that have only been in within a certain amount of time. Within Telin, it is possible to search for those patients and list those that haven't been in a certain amount of time as inactive, but you do have to contact Telin and have them make that bulk change for you. Unfortunately, it is not easily possible to search for patients based on the number of appointments that they've been in. So what I'm going to show you here is to show how to search patients that have had their appointments flagged in some way. So I'm going to search for a patient here, have prepared, and as you can see, when I search for this patient, a flagged comment shows up called saying left practice. A lot of clinics will use this as a tool to indicate that a patient has left the practice, but they don't necessarily indicate in the registration section that that patient is inactive. This is a very helpful section to demonstrate that, because the flagged comments for appointment section is down here and not as easily searchable. However, when you're doing your initial cleanup, it is possible to run a list of all patients using particular keywords such as left or deceased or moved that may have been indicated within this text box, and then you can go through those patients individually and appropriately switch their status to either inactive or deceased. So I'll show you how to run that search. We're going to use a different search engine than the one we've been using in other videos, and it's called the Analyser tool. So first you go to Data, and then Analyzer. It works very similar to the Query Builder in terms of building searches from scratch, but it allows you to combine two different searches more easily. So first, I'm going to go to Patients and Search. I'm going to select a recent query that we've developed in the past, which shows all patients that fit, that are attached to this particular physician's status. So all patients that are attached to this physician, number 12, that are all of the patients that are inactive or deceased have been excluded from this search, so we're just looking for ones that have not yet been assigned to those statuses. If you need more information about how to develop that particular query, you can also go to the previous video, Provider List. So I'll click Query, and it shows that I have 8 different patients listed in that particular search. So now I'm actually going to do this drop down again, select Patients, and I'm going to develop a whole new search. And what I'm going to do is scroll up, you can see this is alphabetized, to the Comments Flag section. There is also a comments section that some people that use Telin will record information in, so use the appropriate one depending on which field you use to record whether or not a patient is deceased or inactive. So I'll select Comments Flag, and here I'm going to select Contains, and I'll write a keyword here. So I'm going to say left. And now we'll press this plus sign, but instead of listing and, I'm going to list or. And I'll select Comments Flagged once again. Again, I'll select Contains, but I'm going to enter a different keyword here. So now I'm going to say moved. I'll press the plus sign again. I'll go back here and select or. And once again, I'll go to Comments Flagged, and again I'll select Contains. And now I'm going to select the keyword transferred. Maybe we'll leave it at that for now. So this would be a search that you'd run for one of these 3 possible keywords that could be used to indicate that a patient has left the practice. I'll select Query, and there are 319 patients, all together within this database that have that information selected. But I want only the patients that are attached to this particular physician that has this criteria, that is, they're attached to the physician and they've never been listed as deceased or inactive. Those are the patients I want. So I'll go down. You see the AND operation is set here, which indicates I want everything from this search and everything from this search, and I'm going to click Complete. So there are actually only 2 patients that I need to identify specifically and take a look at. Now if I click Quick Report or Print Detail, it'll give me some information about those patients, and we can go to another video if you'd like more information on how to develop that report. One piece of advice I will give you is that for those patients, once you have the names, I would go to the patient's chart individually, which you will have to do anyway in order to change the status to inactive, and take a look at the particular area where the keyword is listed. I once found myself in a position where I was searching for keywords related to patients that I thought might be deceased, and I used the keywords date of death, deceased, and passed to look for patients who were passed away, and I found a patient that had passed a kidney stone. So it is important to verify that information so you're not accidentally making a patient that's deceased that is in fact actually suffering from another condition.